out for a win because there's good points for a win, and I think in these conditions the BMW might be even better. He knows he has an advantage a little bit off the start, although we haven't seen great starts actually this weekend. But yeah, he will, in typical Turkington fashion, he'll go for it with a mind on restraint.
So there is Colin Turkington. He will line up third on the grid. Dan Camish lining up alongside him. Just to make the point again, the record number of winners in a season is 13. We've equalled that. Tom Chilton could be a winner. Let's see. Tom Chilton starts on pole position. Adam Morgan lining up alongside him with Colin Turkington third on the grid. Dan Camish for company. Then it's Josh Cook and Andrew Jordan ahead of Rory Butcher and Jack Goff, with Rob Austin and Chris Smiley rounding out the top 10. Sam Tordoff will go from 11th alongside Ricky Collard. Then it's Aidan Moffat and Dan Lloyd ahead of Glyn Geddy and Senna Proctor. Matt Neal is 17th on the grid alongside James Cole, ahead of Brett Smith and Matt Simpson. Ollie Pidgley next, alongside him is Sam Smelt. Then it's Jason Plato and Bobby Thompson. Mike Bushell and Tom Oliphant come next on the 13th row, ahead of Stephen Jelly and then Carl Boardley. Behind them, Ollie Jackson, and the two to watch, Ash Sutton and Tom Ingram, starting 30th and 31st on the grid. Now remember that you carry ballast based on where you cross the line. So even though Ash Sutton and Tom Ingram have been excluded, they still carry, in Ash's case, 75, in Tingram's case, 66 kilos of weight coming into this race. After that, it is based on the rest of the finishers that stayed in the results. 21 kilos for Tom Chilton, all the way up to 57 for Andrew Jordan, 15 for Rory Butcher, Jack Goff carrying 9. So it's this double whammy for Sutton and Ingram. They're at the back and they've got the weight. And if you want to make it a triple whammy, it's a wet race as well, so it's even harder to try and make the progress. But interesting to hear on the grid that Ash and Tom have had a word, and they are going to try and work together and carve their way up through the field and see where they can get. It's going to be fascinating to see their progress. You've got that little subplot going on, as well as the actual race itself. Tom Chilton looking for a win. Dan Camish looking for his first touring car victory. You've got Colin Turkington perhaps out for a win to try and maximise the points haul from the weekend. Adam Morgan off the front. He has been a triple winner this season, so he could well be in the mix. It's another fascinating grid. And, of course, it is race 3. It's all gloves off. What have we got? 3 weeks of repair time before Silverstone. Light the blue touch paper and stand back.
Yeah, it's all going to go, I'm sure. But that, on the other hand, people are, to a certain extent, controlled by their race pace, and in the wet, you know, Chilton definitely has a chance to get away with a clear track ahead, and it may not be quite as dramatic as a normal race 3 grid where the the cars behind have a lot more pace. We'll have to see. Indeed so, and of course, as you get to this end of the championship season, we always find it at Silverstone, people thinking about points before they really go for a gap. So let's see what we're in store for. But as the cars work their way down towards the hairpin, the rain has abated a little. It's, I was going to say brighter, less gloomy than it has been earlier on in the day. And the distinctive bright yellow Ford Focus RS of Tom Chilton will slot into place on pole position with Adam Morgan's Mercedes-Benz A-Class for company. And we may now get to a situation where on the front-wheel drive cars, the front-wheel drive front tyres actually start to wear too much towards the end of this race. So there will be, it's a different, definitely a different track than we've had before. We haven't got that puddle down at the hairpin. I could see more variation in this race, and of course we could have safety cars that could help Sutton and Ingram coming through from the back. Are we still wet, or is this more greasy? No, this is wet. This is definitely wet, just not standing water. Okay, Tom Chilton for pole position. At the very back is Tom Ingram. It'll be quite a wait before the last car gets into position. Tom probably almost round the hairpin, but the team on the radio will shout when the lights go out. He'll blast away. Just up the road ahead of him will be Ollie Jackson, who of course was in the tyres in that second race. This is Tom Ingram's view. And so we've seen at Rockingham and at Snetterton 2 great drives up through the field. But, of course, that was without any weight because he retired with a mechanical drama. So, by definition, there was no success weight. Yeah, the other funny thing is, although they may have had a word to work together, they'll both be desperate to get in front of the other at the start of this race because they're the one leading through the pack. And getting the most points at the very end. So, let's see how that little battle develops as we get set. Round 24 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship from Knock Hill. The lights go red. Who will make the best start as we go racing now? Good getaway by Chilton. A
good start by Camish. Jordan has the road open up ahead of him. He goes round the outside of Camish on the way down towards Duffers Dip. Chiltern leads, Morgan second, Turkington third. It's Camish for fourth. Jordan will go fifth. Do they all get safely through Duffers Dip? So far, so good. And Chiltern it is who leads the pack, heading now towards the chicane for the first time.
Chiltern said he was good at starting and he was true to his word. He got a great start there. No real advantage at all from Turkington. Andy Jordan got a great start, but Camish held him off at the first corner. Matt Simpson just getting into the back of one of the Power Max cars.
But like Senator Proctor, that he was trying to find a way past. Now you can see that it is officially wet. There's lots of spray still hanging in the air as they come down to the hairpin. And Morgan looking very racy here to try and find a way past Chiltern. It's Turkington third, Camish fourth, Jordan is fifth, sixth is Cook, seventh is Butcher, going very nicely. Eighth is Jack Goff. We'd almost forgotten about him today. Jack's had a pretty miserable time up here, as he also had at Rockingham, but he's back in the hunt now as they come over the line. Behind him is Rob Austin, and then it's Sam Tornoff in 10th place.
Off the line at the back. You'd expect the Subaru to get a better start. Of course it does. Look at that. He's passed 3 cars before poor old Ingram even got going. But Ingram managed to get 1 or 2 as well.
Gaps opened up for him on the inside, but Ash Sutton, 2 wheels on the dirt, was flying as the leaders come through the chicane. Now look at Turkington. He's on the back of Morgan for second place. The BMW right up behind the Mercedes. That's enabling Chiltern to get away by a length or 2. Turkington here is on a mission to try to fight his way up past the red Matt Tools with Sicily Motorsport Mercedes as they come to the hairpin, and Chiltern gapping the opposition. Is Turkington going to be able to dive up the inside here? No, he's not. Morgan covers the line down to the hairpin.
Yeah, they're all being very cautious, aren't they? Going to the inside all the way down there. Camish is in this as well. He's looking pretty good under these conditions.
And so also, look, he's Rory Butcher. The MG dives up the inside and Simpson's in the wall. So is Mike Bushell. It was one of the Subarus
that
there.
Was Plato.
That was Plato. So he's got roughed up. But Rory Butcher is another man to watch here. Local knowledge and all that being put to good use. But we've had another sort out down at the hairpin. Now, Ingram is running 24th. Sutton is running 20th. And we have the safety car on track. Safety car is being deployed. And that is because of all the shenanigans down at the hairpin.
Yeah, but they're still going until they see the first marshal's point with the flags out. The nice little lead Chiltern have built up. It'll be disappointing to see this go. And Butcher's attacking Josh Cook, who's attacking Andy Jordan. The flags should be out here at the right-hand side. They are. And it's Bushell's car stuck in the gravel on the inside.
And lots of gravel on the circuit as well. So the inside line for the moment has disappeared. Is that going to be swept or is that going to be left?
Well, they'll have a go at sweeping it, I'm sure, but it's going to be a fairly quick recovery because that car will be pulled back out onto the track fairly quickly, I'd assume.
So then the cars behind the safety car over the line.
We'll try and see what happened at the back to cause all of this. Watch to your left. We keep watching. And into the zone. Oh, it was Matt Simpson that got turned around, wasn't it, by Jack Goff?
Brett Smith.
Brett Smith, was it? Okay.
Yeah. And Bushell gets involved, and then he tries to drive away, and presumably he doesn't have the lock and ends up in the gravel. This is Matt Simpson's view.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do. Yeah.
Bang. So Matt Simpson running the car effectively himself away from Eurotech for the first time, not having a great weekend. This is Tom Ingram's start.
Oh, this is great. Let's see Ash Sutton disappear off the road up to the left. In fact, Tom did get a good start, but he's never going to make as much progress as Sutton, but he's managed to follow him. Look, Sutton actually had his brakes on, and round the outside went Ingram, but then presumably it opens up a little bit and he must have Sutton on his left. So busy that there's just nowhere to go. Touches everywhere, touch. There's Sutton in front. Ingram is following him through. Side by side with Sam Smeltiter. Yes, through the chicane. They had to back off a bit there, but great starts by both of them. Look, he's not got the wipers on. That's because at this stage he's hoping the rain beads off the screen. They have Rain-X on the outside of the screen, which makes the water bead up and disappear off. Either that or his wiper is broken. Not sure, but he hasn't switched it on yet.
We'll keep an eye to the wiper as the race wears on. Still they squabble ahead, look. Ollie Pidgley, Stephen Jelly ahead. It's a frantic first lap. There's the wiper. Hadn't really got time to put it on up until that point, had he? So safety car lights are still on for the moment. And there is Sam Smelt, who has made a pit stop and is set to rejoin. That's Matt Simpson out of the car, out of the race. Right, there is the answer to my "is the gravel going to be swept" question. Yes, it is, but it still looks a bit rally stage-like down there, doesn't it? And it'll be treacherous for the first few laps of the restart. The marshals have had a very long day. Thank you to all of them. They have done a great job in challenging conditions. So Tom Chilton leads at Knockhill. Adam Morgan is second, and Colin Turkington runs third from Dan Camish, Andrew Jordan and Josh Cook. Seventh is Rory Butcher ahead of Sam Tordoff and Jack Goff, with Rob Austin rounding out the top 10. And the two from the back, 20th Ash Sutton, 24th at the moment Tom Ingram. So at least one more lap behind the safety car. Mike Bushell has come into the pit lane. So now really it is just the gravel being swept that is the reason for the safety car staying out.
But they're doing a great job, the marshals, the hardy Scottish marshals. But of course, that gravel is a bit like ball bearings on the track, isn't it? And if you were at the limit of your braking ability and you get down to that, it would be pretty disastrous.
So certainly being swept off the inside line as rapidly as possible. Tom Chilton then hanging on to that race lead. Silverstone 2011 was the last time he had that win in the championship, his 12th BTCC career win. And David Bartram's motor-based team, can he fend off Adam Morgan? Colin Turkington is still there in third place. Remember, safety car intervention means we add laps on, and so that gives perhaps a little bit more scope for those further back in the pack to make some progress. Sam Smelt, we saw rejoin a moment ago. He's back in the pit lane, so clear Rory's not well in the repaired Audi after his accident in race 2.
Yeah, of course, Tom, this is Ollie Pidgley's car in the pits. What's going on there? To work on the left front. Small amount of damage, something's gone. But yeah, I mean, obviously, Tom Chilton was out racing in the World Championship for many years, well, for 5 years, as he mentioned. So it's not as though he's been in this championship continuously since 11 and not won a race.
No, indeed. And it's very good to have him back because he's a good character and he's proved his worth in this championship as well as in the WTCC. So Tom Chilton would dearly love to be a race winner by the end of the afternoon. Adam Morgan is the man doing the chasing right now. Colin Turkington in third place, Dan Camish fourth after that great effort in qualifying, but the races are just not quite clicked.
Well, in fairness to Dan Camish, I don't think that car has had the ultimate pace.
No,
I think he's got the most out of it. He's picked his fights. He hasn't defended unnecessarily against faster cars, and he's actually picked up 2 good results so far. You know, no disrespect to his teammate, but Matt Neal, who didn't qualify quite as well, has not got anything out of the race. So I think Camish has done a good job. He's often been the top or one or two front-wheel drive cars. So yeah, I think he's done a good job.
And he has put himself back into the top 10 in the championship as well, hasn't he? He came here 11th and he's coming into this race 10th as the light to go out on top of the safety car. So we will go racing at the end of this lap. Tom Chilton now bunches up everybody behind him. He's controlling the restart. He will decide when he accelerates. Adam Morgan lines up to think about where he can make the move as Chilton goes now, accelerates down to the hairpin, tries to get the gap over Adam Morgan. It's Turkington third, it's Camish fourth, then it's Jordan, then it's Cook, and then Rory Butcher is in seventh as we go racing once more at Knockhill. We're up to 27 laps now because of the safety car period, and Chilton to Morgan as they break the beam is 0.425 of a second.
And another shout out for Rory Butcher. What a great job he's been doing this weekend in front of the home fans.
Now Turkington is under attack from Dan Camish. Look at Josh Cook. He's been pretty racy all day as well. He's on the tail of Andrew Jordan, almost in the back of the BMW there. And the venerable MG of Rory Butcher not giving up either. Sam Tordoff next in the queue, but he's dropped back a little bit, hasn't he? The pink Ford relative to the MG ahead. And there, Tordoff goes to the inside and trying to find a way past Cook, who defends and simultaneously attacks Jordan, but goes wide up over the curb. This could be Butcher's chance. Yes, it is. He powers past him, and Rory Butcher now breaks into the top 6.
Great job. Josh Cook was a bit wide at the chicane and on the exit nearly left Butcher a chance and then carried too much speed in, but has he left the door open? Yes, he has. And Cook was the first one to go for that inside line, and it's paid off. But Butcher's been pushed out wide, and Tordoff's going to get through as well. But it looks like the inside line is the place to go. They all stayed off it because of the gravel, but the gravel's gone.
Down through Duffers Dip, then go the race leaders. Fastest lap of the race, Ash Sutton. He's up into 19th place now. And there is Sam Tordoff, having got himself up past Rory Butcher. He's now having to really defend very strenuously indeed. Chilton getting away from Morgan. Turkington is still there in third. Jordan is back onto the tail of Camish now. So fourth and fifth. There they are. Front-wheel drive Honda, rear-wheel drive BMW. The other person that's really pushing on still, Josh Cook, absolute best in the first sector, and you can see behind them the Astra is almost there, but Ash Sutton then the quickest lap of the race. He is up into 19th, Ingram is 23rd. They're still outside the points, don't forget though.
And look at Cook round the outside, and behind that Butcher's got back past Tordoff. He's bullied his way back past, and good job Rory fighting stuff. I called him a tiger before this meeting as a way of describing his racing, and he's proving that every bit of that today.
Camish, Jordan, Cook as one. There is Aidan Moffat, who normally goes well in greasy conditions, and he has just got himself up into 11th at the expense of Chris Smiley. There is Ash Sutton, who's up another place, 18th. Ingram's up to 22nd, and now Sutton has got to get past Ricky Collard, teammate to Colin Turkington, and Sutton goes wide and off the road, and up past him there goes James Cole.
Yeah, that was a mistake by Sutton. He came down the hill so fast, he thought he was going to hit the back of Collard's car and had to go left to avoid it. Camish is being passed by both Andy Jordan and Cook.
So Jordan on the inside, Cook tries to go with him. They're almost 3 wide, down to the hairpin. Camish breaks late, tries to go round the outside. He finds all the gravel, he drifts out wide. Jordan is through, Cook is through, and here comes Rory Butcher as well, up on the inside line. They come through side by side. Rory Butcher is on the inside line. Dan Camish on the outside for the next corner, going into Duffer's Dip. And so Jordan now fourth, Cook fifth, and Rory Butcher is into the top six. He's been there before. Can he go higher and therefore get his best result of the season?
That's fascinating. There's some great racing going on. Let's give a shout out to these guys. They are absolutely flying around here, taking some great opportunities, taking advantage of mistakes, teetering on the edge of adhesion, but some great driving going on.
Colin Turkington third, and the other two in the championship fight not yet in the points. Turkington now goes for second. He really is in the box seat here, isn't he, to go away from Knockhill with a huge advantage in the championship as he comes down towards the hairpin. Morgan defends, makes sure that the Mercedes is wide enough and covers all the lines. Over the line they come with Chilton getting away and looking now as though he could be a record-breaking 14th different winner of the championship season.
Wow, what a statistic that would be, 14, and that's still with 2 meetings and 6 races to go.
Quite, so we can keep building on that because there are plenty of others that still think they could or deserve a maiden win of the season. Mike Bushell back into the race. Right, the leading gap is 1.5 seconds. Chilton to Morgan. Turkington running third. Jordan fourth, and it's Cook, Butcher, Camish, Tordoff, Goff, Smiley in the top 10 now. It's Smiley's 10th. What's happened to Aidan Moffat? He's dropped back a little bit into 14th place. And there, look, out of Clark comes Josh Cook, still chasing on in pursuit of Andrew Jordan. Fastest lap of the race now, incidentally, Ash Sutton, and he is in 18th place. Look at this battle pack. Glyn Geddy under attack from Matt Neal, who goes around the outside of him. So this is 13th, 14th and 15th places. And Ash Sutton, look, is at the back. He's about to break into the points, isn't he?
He's trying to go around 2 cars at one go here. Senna Proctor and Ricky Collard. He loves to race. He loves this wheel-to-wheel, close proximity racing. Just gets stuck in. He just always goes for the bit of track that no one else is on. He doesn't matter what the line is, he just goes for the bit that no one else is on. And
it's worked because he's ahead of Collard now. So there is Moffat, who is ahead of Matt Neal. So it's Aidan Moffat in 13th place. Matt Neal is 14th. 15th is Glyn Geddy. 16th equal Sutton and Proctor. But Ash Sutton will go ahead, look, as they come now towards the chicane. So he's nearly there. He's nearly in the points. And Ingram is stuck. Ingram is stuck in 22nd place. And this is his view.
Yeah, not making the same sort of progress, is he? And Sutton's back to his best, taking every opportunity that he can. And remember, he has got 75 kilos on board.
66 for Ingram, but he is struggling at the moment to get onto the tail of James Cole. The gap was 1.8 seconds, whereas Sutton has already caught, passed and pulled away from, and is still wriggling his way through the traffic. The leading gap, Chilton to Morgan, is now 2.4 seconds. Tordoff is up into 7th at the expense of Camish, and Turkington still applying pressure to Adam Morgan to see whether he can unsettle him and find a way by. We are on lap 14 of 27 here.
Chilton's driving beautifully up the front in the Motorbase Focus RS. He's going really well, pulling away from the others. He was half a second quicker nearly than Morgan and Turkington. Well, it looks like Turkington's got a bit more pace, but just can't get past, and he won't do it that way.
Good save, Colin. Very sideways out of Clark's. Jordan is behind him, then it's Cook and Rory Butcher to round out the top 6. Chilton, though, is getting away up front, isn't he? That gap is widening all the time as the 2nd to 6th group dives into the hairpin. There is Tordov 7th. Camish is 8th, 9th. It is Goff, 10th and 11th. Smiley and Lloyd. And there, look, Ash Sutton on the back now of Matt Neal. He's 15th. He's going to get 1 point, and he's not done yet.
No, there are plenty of cars not far in front of him that he could still gain places from, but he's got Matt Neal in front of him now, and we know Matt is not an easy person to pass.
Ingram is closing on James Cole further back, but that's still only for 21st and 22nd places. Sutton's going to have a dive here on the inside line. There's a gap, but that one didn't quite work. Matt Neal, just for the moment at any rate, hangs on to the place. So Matt Neal it is, still 14th ahead of Ash Sutton, and that's Moffat all over the gravel ahead. Sutton tries to go to the inside, Matt Neal defends, Sutton to the outside line, and a muddy Moffat is still just ahead of the pair.
Yeah, Matt Neal knows just where to place the car, doesn't he? Because that down the hill swoop up the inside into Scotsman, he tried to put it off, but Matt just left some space on the inside, went round the outside, knowing he'd have the line.
Change for second. Turkington goes ahead of Morgan. So the championship leader gains another place, gains more points out of this. Colin Turkington is up into 2nd spot now. Morgan runs 3rd. Then it's Jordan, Cook and Butcher to round out the top 6. Now that he's up into 2nd, what can Turkington do about the race leading gap? Sutton's ahead of Matt Neal. So Ash Sutton now is up into 14th place, and Ingram is up into 21st.
Oh yeah, good. I'd like to see where Sutton got past Neal, because that's 2 guys who really know how to do it, isn't it? But Turkington's pushing on. He's had to push on because he's had cars up close behind him, and you know what? I think he doesn't like the idea that he's only won 1 race so far this year, and I'm going to watch that gap closely between him and Chilton now to see what sort of relative pace they've got as the circuit continues to dry out a little bit.
2.7 seconds, the margin at the start of this lap. Morgan's the one under attack now, isn't he? The pace looks like it might just be ebbing away slightly because he's lost out to Turkington and he's having to defend from Jordan. Cook comes to have a go at the pair of them as well. Down towards Duffus, starting lap 17. Can Jordan dive up the inside? He can't. He's got Cook up behind him, and the gap straight away between the top 2 is down by fractions. It's down to 2.6, so Turkington is on a charge.
Yeah, as I said, they get to the point where potentially you lose a bit of grip out the front of the tyres on the front-wheel drive car, and that costs you traction out the hairpin. And the BMW does look after its tyres quite well, being rear-wheel drive.
Drew Clarks goes out of Morgan. 3rd, hanging on to a potential podium place, but this is going to be very tough indeed with Jordan, Cook and Butcher looking quick and all sat behind him. Down to the hairpin, lap 17 of 27, the race elongating because of the safety car period. Butcher to the inside of Cook, gets up the inside, and the MG not quite able to power out ahead, but it was a good attempt. Through they come. Now behind, you've got 7th Tordov, 8th Camish. Jack Goff is 9th. Smiley and Lloyd, the 2 teammates at BTC Nord in 10th and 11th. And in fact, Jack Goff has gone ahead of Camish. Now what's happened to Dan? Because he has dropped on this lap down to 11th place. Goff, Smiley and Lloyd all ahead of Camish. There he is.
Yeah, so something not working on that Honda. I wonder if that's a signal that the tyres are giving out on some cars without the right setup. Look, he's got no traction off the corner, and it looks he's going wide on the grass, and Rob Austin goes through. But yeah, definitely he's not got the pace. Now, the front, Turkington did take 3/10 of Chilton on that last lap, so Turkington is quicker.
And look who's behind Camish now. It is Ash Sutton, who's already up into 13th place. Down towards the hairpin. Sutton's going for the gap on the inside of Dan Camish. This should be a pass. Should be able to go through on the inside, given the way that he's been charging, and through he goes. So Ash Sutton gains another place out of all of this. He will now be 12th. And Andrew Jordan's got himself up past Adam Morgan as well. The leading gap is down to 1.9. And we're hearing that Tom Chilton is looking for the wetter part of the road now to keep the tyres cool, to preserve them to the end. And there's contact as Butcher and Cook come to blows. Cook into the gravel. Tordov goes ahead of him. And the Astra back onto the circuit.
I did that once to Gabriele Tarquini, and he rolled his Alfa Romeo into a ball. So I think Josh Cook got away lightly from that, but that was a shame to see that battle end like that, because Butcher's been driving beautifully. Look, he gets a run down the hill, flicks it to the inside, is committed to the move, but he's not far enough alongside when Cook rightly takes his normal line.
Now this, of a couple of laps back, is how Sutton got past Matt Neal.
Neil got blocked on the inside, and Sutton did a beautiful switch back to the inside. I mean, there were millimetres between his front bumper and the rear bumper of Matt Neal. And bear in mind, he can't even see the bonnet. That's great judgment.
Fastest lap of the race, Colin Turkington. The gap is down to 1.2 seconds. He's catching Chilton, and Colin Turkington could be a race winner yet. Jordan's up to third, as you've seen. Morgan is fourth, Butcher fifth, Tordoff sixth. Down to seventh after the contact is Cook. Eighth is Goff, ninth is Lloyd, 10th is Smiley. Sutton is 11th. And where is Ingram out of all of this? He's still struggling, 19th, not yet in the points.
Yeah, well, Sutton's not done yet either. Next on his list is Smiley. There's a second gap between him and Smiley.
There's the lead gap coming down and down, because in the first sector of this lap, fractionally quicker was Turkington. In the second sector, he was 0.2 quicker, and so 1.2 seconds was the margin. It's down to 0.9.
Yeah, and Turkington set his fastest lap of the race on the last lap, so no deterioration in his tyres whatsoever.
So he's getting stronger all the time. Jordan is there in third place. Ash Sutton goes over the timing line 11th, having started 30th on the grid. That'll be another haul of points within the Dunlop Forever Forward Award, won't it? Sutton now turning his way through the right-hander at McIntyre's. Through Butchers up towards the chicane now. So we're on lap 21 of 27, and Sutton is still pushing, and that is Senna Proctor, who has had drama, and Brett Smith likewise. And I think these two damaged cars may well be connected.
I think they may well be, but at least they're both still moving, and they can and get the cars off the place. That's on the entrance to the pit lane. That was where Proctor was. Brett Smith with the bonnet up, he can still see perfectly okay, because the driver's eye line is completely underneath the bonnet when it's up.
Senna Proctor is in the pits, and Colin Turkington is on the tail of Tom Chilton for a race win here. Lap 22. Right, can Tom Chilton make his elbows pointy enough to keep Colin Turkington at bay for another 6 laps?
Well, the thing is, you know, I can tell you what Turkington will do. He will try and set up that cutback from the final hairpin and use the superior traction from the BMW. Not in that instance, Colin, but he'll try and set it up. He's going to mess it up this lap. He's going to have to do it another lap. But this will be where he'll do it. He'll force Chilton to defend it to the inside. He will go wide and cut back and use the superior traction to get out the corner earlier. But he needed to, and that's why he was so keen at Clark, to get on the back of him, and he just gassed it up too much. But he'll time that better next time, or the time after, I'm sure.
So the gap is 0.4 of a second between them, and there, look, Turkington closing as they come into Duffer's Dip. Now this is Brett Smith into the back of Senna Proctor. Oh, I think Proctor was going for the pits and brakes and got hit from behind.
Yeah, he didn't use his indicator, did he? Didn't mirror signal manoeuvre. Didn't manage to get out of the way.
Right, there are the leaders. Now sector 1, Chilton a little bit quicker than Turkington. This is Ingram's view. He's still 18th, but ahead of him, Dan Camish, who's clearly got a problem, because Camish is dropping like a dropping thing now.
Like a stone without grip. But something not quite right in the setup there.
But Sutton, in the meantime, is into the top 10. So 30th he started, 10th he is now. He's got ahead of Smiley. And there for the race lead, Chilton and Turkington 0.152 of a second apart, starting lap 24, down towards Duffer's Dip. But Tom Chilton, for the moment, is doing a great job of withstanding the pressure, isn't he?
He really is, actually. He's really upped his game. You can tell he wants this win badly. He's not defending at the moment. He's just absolutely getting the max out of that car on the racing line. He's going to have to defend at the hairpin. That's his most vulnerable point, but he's really driving a great race.
So Tom Chilton it is that leads the way. You have to go back a long, long time to find the last Ford RS badged win. It was Tim Harvey in 1819 or something like that. But Tom Chilton could well be the man that is the most recent victor in an RS badged Ford. Let us see. He comes now up towards the timing line. It's Colin Turkington on his tail, and still Chilton is able to maintain the advantage. But equally, Turkington is mindful that there's nobody behind him applying pressure. He's going to get a really decent haul of points, and this, even though the pace of the car did not look that great in race 2, he's going to come away with a very, very good situation in the championship.
He is, absolutely, and you're right. And looking at the cars relatively through that hairpin last time round, Chilton had a good line. There was no massive advantage for the BMW, was there? And the body language of the BMW doesn't look like he's really pushing for the win now. I think you might be right. He may have had a little think about it. He had a couple of moments, and he may have decided it was too risky to put Chilton under pressure.
And equally, you're right saying Chilton's upped his pace, because he did his fastest lap on his last lap through, so he is responding. Ricky Collard, incidentally, has pitted, which now means that Dan Camish is up to 16th and Tom Ingram is 17th. This is Jack Goff versus Dan Lloyd down to the hairpin. They're squabbling, and look who's behind them. Look who's about to get past them. Ash Sutton arrives on the scene, and Dan Lloyd, who a moment ago was busy trying to attack, suddenly loses a place. Wow, straight past him goes Sutton. That puts him 9th from 30th on the grid.
It's like watching a go-kart racer come from the back when you watch Ash Sutton, and he does have a karting pedigree. He knows where to put the car. He just takes the opportunity whenever he can. It's great to watch.
And we'll use the line again. He's not done yet because we've got 2 laps to go. But in frustration, in contrast, Tom Ingram has put all the effort in, and he's only now 60, not yet into the points. So it's a bad day, this, as far as his championship hopes are concerned. Sutton there, look, now on the tail of Jack Goff for 8th place. Aidan Moffat running behind us in the group in 12th, going well as ever in the greasy conditions and picking his way up the order. But up front, Chilton is half a second ahead of Turkington. Sutton to the inside of Jack Goff. There, Morgan Tordoff all getting ahead of Butcher. Jack Goff just ahead of Ash Sutton. We know they can run side by side. Remember Snetterton? Well, this is only for 8th place, but Sutton's going to do it, look, because he's got himself on the inside line. He may not be ahead over the timing line, but he will be as they go into Duffers Dip. Job done. Another place gained. He's 8th.
Wow, what a drive. What a drive.
So the last lap, and there, look, is Chilton leading. Now look who's ahead. Off the road, Ricky Collard after a pit stop. He's going to get back onto the circuit. The 2 leaders go through, and Tom Chilton is going to be our 14th different winner of the season, a record-breaking number in the BTCC.
Congratulations, Tom Chilton. Congratulations, Motorbase. A fantastic victory. Great to see. What a good drive by Chilton. Kept his cool, and, well, I think Paul O'Neill said when he gets a sniff of a win, that's when you see the best of Tom Chilton, and he's done it. Turkington will be loving his championship points position now, and what a great drive by Sutton.
Tom Chilton wins at Knock Hill. Turkington 2nd, Jordan 3rd ahead of Morgan, Tordoff, Cook, Butcher, Sutton 8th from Goff, Lloyd, Smiley, Moffat, Austin, Jelly. Who is going to be 15th and get the last point? It is Matt Neal. So Tom Ingram gets through half the field, but frustratingly, after all that effort, misses out on the points. 17th, Dan Camish, 18th, Glyn Geddy, 19th, Jason Plato, and Bobby Thompson in 20th position. But the real fascination now is going to be the end-of-day championship scoreboard, isn't it? But Tom Chilton will be absolutely over the moon about that. We always say he's a great character, and proving that he's still very capable of winning races. And David Bartram's Motorbase team can celebrate honours in race 3 here at Knock Hill. Well done, Tom Chilton. A great drive that to withstand all the pressure. There is David Bartram, a very jolly, very happy team principal right now. So Tom Chilton wins from Colin Turkington, and Andrew Jordan will round out the podium finishers. And Tom Chilton got a wheel wrong in that race, and so he comes home victorious. Top job. Fastest lap, Colin Turkington, so remember, point for that as well. And his results over the day, plus the travails of Ash Sutton and also Tom Ingram, sets him up nicely. 6 races still to go. Silverstone, September 15-16 is the next weekend in the story of the 2018 British Touring Car Championship. But is this the driver of the day? Ash Sutton.
Oh, yeah, arguably so. He just never gives up. You know, he's so exciting to watch. You know, and that's what the BDC fans love. They love to see a charging driver. Him and Ingram have been brilliant this season.
Tom Chilton wins round 24 of the British Touring Car Championship. Colin Turkington takes second. Andrew Jordan third ahead of Adam Morgan. And then Sam Tordoff with sixth. Josh Cook, Rory Butcher seventh. Ash Sutton 30th to 8th ahead of Jack Goff and Dan Lloyd. 11th goes the way of Chris Smiley ahead of Aidan Moffat, with Rob Austin, Stephen Jelly and Matt Neal rounding out the scorers. After that, Tom Ingram 16th from Dan Camish, Glyn Geddy, Jason Plato and Bobby Thompson in 20th spot. 21st, Tom Oliphant ahead of James Cole and then Carl Boardley. Ricky Collard 24th, a lap down. Mike Bushell pitted. Brett Smith we saw with damage. Senna Proctor had damage. Ollie Pidgley in the wars, so too Ollie Jackson and Sam Smelt, with Matt Simpson also suffering damage early on. Tom Chilton has done it. He is back as a race winner in the British Touring Car Championship. You can see how much that means to him and to the